A super special shout out to all my amazing members and patrons for going above and beyond in supporting the channel. If you want to join them, consider becoming a patron. The link as well as the associated perks are in the description down below.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to 7 Days That I Rebirth Mod. This is going to be an overview video, just checking in on all the attributes, the skills, and the classes of Rebirth Mod. I won't be covering any of the zombies or the vehicles or guns or anything like that. I mean, why spoil it for yourself? What I'm about to show you actually helps you play the game. The rest is just for the fun. Just explore, just experience the mod for yourself. Now, Rebirth is an extensive overall mod made by Furious Ramsey. I'll link to his YouTube channel down below. And guys, this mod is insane. This has easily taken the #1 spot for me. And this is coming from someone that loves Darkness Falls and has been playing that mod since 2016. But the amount of work that has gone into this mod is just insane. Not only do you have the usual vanilla settings, you also have Rebirth settings. There are 94 settings for you to tweak the game as you please. So don't like something, come over here and change it. I'm going to go through the list over here, what changes what, and then we'll be jumping into the game and we're going to be looking at a few things in there as well. So first things first, we have scenario. At the moment, the public version only has the Purge and nothing else, but there's also the Hive being worked on, and Ramsey is actually making videos on that as well, so go check that out, it's awesome. Basically, normal is just playing the game normal, and then the Purge, you have to clear 75% of all POIs in a biome to move to the next biome. So this one's rough, but as a community, this can actually be really, really fun. But just make sure you are all on at the same time. Otherwise, if someone hasn't been on for a few days, the progress is going to be insane for that person. Spawn configuration. Toggle whether to be presented with a spawn button when entering a game, yes or no. So when you log into a game, you say log in, yes, no, that's the button. Initial biome, you can actually set where you want to spawn into the game. So that's kind of cool as well. Jump start, you can give yourself no jump start, so it's going to be harder. You can give yourself a book and weapon, will receive a generic class book and weapons for your class, or you can do book and essentials. You will receive a generic class book, weapons, some survival essentials. You also have protect traders on and off. So if it's off, you can destroy the traders. If it's on, the trader is indestructible. You can also loot the trader grounds, yes or no. I actually like being able to loot the traders. You can have tornadoes in the game as well. They do explosion damage, like the Seekers I'll cover later. Basically, tornadoes, biomes only, or Horde Nights only, or always or never. This is actually really cool during Horde Nights, especially because, like I said, they do explosion damage, they knock you down, they throw zombies away. It's really cool. You can even set like how many tornadoes you get as well. Max jobs, set the maximum number of jobs offered by White River traders. So here, you can say, okay, I want the trader to offer me 13 quests at a time, 20 quests at a time, or very few quests at a time. Share job progression, yes or no. Toggle whether or not the entire party benefit from tier progression when completing a job. Obviously, if you're doing quests together on a server, you want this on because then if you do 2 tier 5 quests for 2 different people, it counts as 10 points. If you turn this off, you only get 5 points for your own quest. Jobs to next tier. You can now set, usually the standard is 10. You do 10 quests, you get to the next tier. 10 quests, next tier. You can lower it or you can up it all the way up to 20. So it's going to take you double the time to get to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, so on. Repeat POI jobs off or on. If you have it on, you can do more than you can do the same job more than once. If you have it off, you can do that job only once. POI job limit. This is the amount of times you can clear a POI as a quest. So if you set it to 1, that POI can only be quested in once. I'm not quite sure how this works in multiplayer, whether if I say A and B has the same quests at the same POI, whether that's allowed, or if it's just per player that you can only have that quest there once. Infested jobs, you can have on default. So it's going to say tier 6 infested in a tier 5 POI, or you can hide it. So it's going to be a tier 6 POI, but it won't tell you it's tier 6. It's going to say it's like tier 5, or it's going to say tier 6, but it won't specify infested. Hide and surprise, it's never tier 6. It's a tier 5 building that can be infested like a tier 6, but it says tier 5, so you never know whether it's infested or not. You just see insane amounts of zombies. Feeling lucky. Increases both loot and game stage by 20%, and increases the respawn rates of zombies between 10 and 20% at night. So if you have that on, the zombies at night are going to be way more, and the loot stage and game stage is going to be up as well. Overrides opacity. Sets a default background opacity. Turn this off to play with the default video settings. This will override the opacity setting for all clients in multiplayer. So what you change here is going to be on the server as well. Console pop-up. This is awesome having this off. Have you ever been playing and then all of a sudden this menu just drops down with errors and you can't close it fast enough to fight? The zombies attack you while this console is down. You can't do anything. If you turn it off, then even if there are errors, you never see that console. If you turn it on, every time there's an error, this pops up, and now you first have to close this window and then keep fighting the zombies. So I love keeping this off. Crosshair HUD, this I keep off as well. If you have it on, basically your food, drink, stealth, everything is like a half crescent moon kind of thing in the middle of the screen. It does take away from the game, so I just usually keep that off. Party XP multiplier scales the amount of the player's level up experience received from party member kills. Does not include the player's companions and hires. Does not increase the amount of class generic experience received. So this is just your XP. So here you can set how many. If you are in a party and they shared XP, usually I think vanilla is like 100% XP share. Here you can say, okay, if I kill a zombie, my friend should get 50% of the XP, not 100%. Or they should get 0% of the XP. It's only mine. Class XP multiplier scales the amount of players' class-related experience received. Does not increase the amount of player level or genetics experience received. So this is now to do with your class. Like if someone else kills it, no, this is your own. So basically, at 100%, you're getting 100% of the class-related experience. I'm not sure if this is for multiplayer or not, though. Genetics as well, 100%. So basically, class experience, this is how much you get from killing zombies, now that I see this. Class experience, how much you get from killing zombies for your class. You can up it even more to get your classes to level up faster, or you can down it to level up your classes slower. 100% just default is fine. Same with the genetics, the exact same thing. How much your genetics experience goes up depends on how much you put over here. Just keep it on default. You don't want to level up too fast, and you don't want to level up too slow. So I think this is just perfect at 100. Aura sharing. Toggle whether or not to share auras, and if so, at what distance. So you have party range, always or never. The party range, same distance used for party XP sharing. Basically, you have different classes with different auras. If you're in this party share range or XP share range, if you hit a zombie, say I have explosive aura, and you have rain of arrows aura, we can share each other's auras in that specific distance. Further than that, obviously, it's not going to do. Always, doesn't matter where we are on the map, we can share each other's auras, and no aura sharing, we can do that as well. So you have to use your own classes. Okay, vehicle density multiplier. Now, on servers, you want to have this as high as possible. Single player as well. If you play like me with no loot respawn on, 200% is default. So you can turn it up, or you can just leave it default. You can also say whether vehicles should respawn. So since I'm playing with respawn off, I don't want the vehicles to respawn. But on a server, you want to make sure this respawns after a certain amount of days. Otherwise, there's not going to be any vehicles left. And if one person ranges everything, then no one else gets anything. You can also turn on whether you want to be able to pick up or not the vehicles. So obviously, pick up vehicles off means you can't pick up vehicles. Pick up vehicles on means you can pick up vehicles like trucks and helicopters and stuff you can put in your inventory. Secure vehicles on or off. Basically, yeah, I think it's also for party members. If your vehicle is laying in the middle of the road and people try and interact with it or try and drive it away, they're going to have to put a password in if this is on. Restrictive healing on or off. Off means you can spam bandages and it's going to count up like 2, 3, 400 and it's just going to count down in the background and heal you passively. If you turn this on, you use a bandage, it heals you, say, 10 HP. You have to wait for that 10 HP to go away before healing again. So this thing, it's nice having it off. Having it on is so, restrictive. That's why it's called restrictive healing. Respawn penalty on or off. So basically, yeah, no more free death. So if you turn it off, obviously there's not going to be any penalty for dying. If you turn it on, there's going to be the default penalties. Restrict NPC hires. So there's none, default, progression, and player level. There's no restriction to hiring them, which means you can just hire them whenever. Default restrictions based on charisma level or charismatic nature level and the NPC's weapon type and player level. I have it on default because that just makes the game progress how it's supposed to be progressed. Yeah, progression restriction is based on charismatic nature level alone. So it doesn't matter what level you are, as long as your charismatic nature level is high enough, you can get the NPC. Player level is just on your player level and weapon type, so it doesn't even have to worry about the charismatic nature. That's why I like you just keeping a default. That's the way it's meant to be played. Although obviously, don't ever let a game or a mod or ever tell you how to play the game. Play the game how you want. But yeah, this is just the default way to play it. Companion inventory. None, no auto loot, always, And then, yeah, basically what this does is if you have companions or drones or whatever, there's no inventory, none. No auto loot. Auto loot will not consider this inventory. So when something auto loots a zombie corpse, it goes to your loot instead of theirs. Or always. I have it set to always. So when a zombie dies from NPCs, the loot goes into their inventory and you just have to grab it from the inventory every now and then. Quality of life. I have it on default. Selecting quick stack only will disable pack mule features. So obviously you can have no quality of life. You can have default. That just really, I love that. Or quick stack only. But like I said, this disables a pack mule. I want to keep the effects from the skills. So since you want to use a pack mule bonus features, you want to have it on all default. Tool belt shift on or off. Toggle whether or not pressing the shift key will move your tool belt selection to the last 10 slots. Oh, I don't even know. I haven't even been using this. Huh. Sprint toggle on or off. So basically when it's off, you can't auto sprint. And when it's on, if you just tap shift, it auto runs for you. So I like keeping that off because that can get annoying. Sometimes you feel like you're moving so fast, don't know why. Sprint toggle was enabled and you didn't realize. So you're wasting your stamina. Path smoothing. Toggles entity pathing from default where they follow a grid to them taking a more direct path. So basically the zombies and NPCs and stuff, this is great having this on because then they move more naturally as well. Health bar visibility default. So there is none, so you can't see the zombies' HP. Default allows you to use a mod in-game. There's a tier 1 to tier 5 health mod you can find. And then always, you can always see the HP. So on a server where you want to see the HP always because that mod can be rare sometimes, always is great for servers. But if you want to challenge and you want to find the mod yourself, go default. Instant loot on or off. This is just what it sounds like. If it's on, you can instantly do stuff. Off, you have to rely on the loot timer. Lockpick minigame. Have you guys ever played vanilla? And there's been automatic lockpicking where the lockpick just fails. Here you can toggle on or off whether you want the minigame. So instead of instead of automatic lockpicking, you can choose manual lockpicking. So it's that game with the lockpick where you play with it. I actually love it. It's so easy. Blocks catch fire, yes or no. This can cause lag, so be very, very careful. Basically, any fire base can can burn wood. So if your base is made out of wood and there's vomit or explosions or whatever, your base can burn down. If you're using explosive charges inside of a wooden house, it'll burn down. I like playing it off, especially on servers. It just helps with the frame rate. Protect supply drops on or off. Now this one, if you're new to the mod and you don't want like insane bosses, because I'm at a level where some of the bosses that spawn for the supply drops have 750,000 HP. And that might not sound a lot with like in-game guns, but it's a lot. It takes forever, even with 4 NPCs helping me, to take down the boss. So if you turn this off, supply drops, you can just loot them. There's no consequences. If it's on, then either zombies, animals, or NPCs, bandits, will spawn protecting that supply drop. Or rather, they attack the supply drop, but you trying to loot it, they attack you. Zombie headshots on, off. Yeah, if it's on... Yeah. Body shots at the moment, I think that's off. So with off, body shots do about 92%. No, this is when it's on. When it's off, you don't have to do headshots. When it's on, shooting the body only does 7.5% damage with melee. Range only does 5% damage. So you have to do headshots. 15% less damage if zombies wears a helmet. So headshot only, guys. And then, you can't see this dude's face. You can't just shoot you in the mouth. You have to shoot the head. Because I've actually played with the headshot only on, and it makes it so difficult. You have to shoot at the top of the head, not like the middle or the neck. What else? Screen shake. There are seekers in the game. It says seekers, rage, doomsday. Basically, when you're enraged and when there's seekers, the screen shakes uncontrollably every time there's like an explosion or something, and this can make people sick. So I just turn it off because it just looks better. It's smooth. Even when there's explosions and stuff, the screen stays still for you. Otherwise, the whole screen shakes, and when there's multiple seekers, you're going to throw up. So yeah, screen shake off. Rebirth weather. There's rebirth weather in this one. So custom weather patterns, forest, variable, desert, dry, snow, snowfalls, and wasteland storms. So this looks really, really cool in game. The desert looks like a desert with this on. Fog density, I like lowering this. The game since V1 and A21 just has way too much fog in the game. Pitch black on or off. Basically, night times are really, really, really dark. So like when you don't have any light and there's no light source, it's pitch black. You can't see anything. Tree density, I like turning this down. The default, I think, is like 300% or something. Yeah, that's just way too many trees, especially on servers and stuff. That creates insane lag. Auto replant trees. When you chop down a tree, does it replant the tree? Yes or no? So if you want the seed to stay behind, you say yes. Advanced farming, yes or no? Yes. Crop cycle time. So basically, how long do you want to take crops to take to grow? 60 minutes is like the full in-game day, or this is like 1.5 in-game day. Events at night, yes or no? So events can occur in the game, whether it be zombies attacking you, animals attacking you, or bandits coming to attack you. And there's also always a boss in that group. So do you want events to come on at night? Yes or no? Do you want certain restrictions? Yes. Only while questing, off when questing, or off inside of buildings, off questing, or inside of buildings, or just completely off. So with restrictions, especially on servers, turn it off while questing because people are going to rage. I basically had it on. So there are some restrictions to it, but at the same time, I can have these events, when I'm inside of POIs or in dangerous situations, it can really, really mess you up. So if you're doing a quest, make sure it's off. Because that way you don't have to worry about events occurring while you're questing. I should have had this with my series. I didn't even think about that. Event frequency, I have it 100%. You can lower the events or just increase it like crazy. But then you're basically going to be fighting events all the time. And for those of you guys that have watched my recent series, even at 100%, you get so many wandering hordes, outbreaks, and events. It is insane. Event difficulty, normal, low, or high. It says over here, drops the event game stage by 30 points if you have it lower. Normal is no change. More increases the event stage by 50 points. Or random can be the highest difficulty or the lowest difficulty. So you can even go random over here. Let's just set it back to normal. Zombie animal events on. So basically, zombie animals can spawn, bandits can spawn, event notifications on. So it says Death's Whisper or something. Death's Whisper just means, hey, there's an event triggered, be careful. Event loot. So when you kill a boss, it actually drops loot. So I have it on because otherwise there's no point in killing them because you don't get anything for killing them. So the boss drops like a bag. There's sometimes too many bosses protecting the boss. They drop blue bags and then the boss drops like a box full of loot. Screamer Nights. I had it on lower. That's the default. Screamer Nights basically over here it says every 4 to 6 days it can spawn zombies at night or screamers at night. Or default is 2 to 4 or higher is 1 to 2. So I had it on lower every 4 to 6. I basically never had screamers. Screamers in this game can be a pain. And there can be up to 6 screamers at a time. That's insane. Game stage multiplier. How high do you want your game stage to be? 100% is just normal. Obviously, the higher this is, the higher your game stage, the higher or tougher the enemies as the game progresses. POI risk, default. What's the difference over here? Different. Low, default, or high? Alters the player's game stage based on the POI that is being visited. So if you go and visit a tier 1, it's not that dangerous. If you visit a tier 5, the risk is going to be way higher in there. Ascension on, natural selection on, and rebirth on. We'll get to these once we cover the skills and the classes. Horde Night XP multiplier, the default for this is 25%. Now this is the class experience received. So I think it's also to do a little bit with your level, but basically how fast you level up the class determines on this. I did one series that got to day 42 before getting corrupted, and I only had 1, perhaps 2 classes unlocked by day 42. With it on 100%, with my current series by day 77, I have 6 classes unlocked. So the faster or the more you want your classes unlocked, the higher this has to be. And at 100%, I mean 77 days of me just playing and playing and playing, only have 6 out of the 10 classes unlocked. That's insane. And number 6 is only at like 3 out of 10 with the progress. Horde Night loot. Do you want the zombies? It says over here, set the amount of loot bag drops in Horde Night. I have it 100%. You want to make sure there's as much loot bags being dropped. Signal 8 XP multiplier. Set the amount of class experience received when near a screamer signal. So there are screamer blocks that you can spawn zombies in. This is the amount of XP you get from that. I always have these on. This makes Horde Nights so much harder. So you have Horde Night Plus and Horde Night Turbo, Horde Night Plus Turbo. Significantly increases the higher tier Horde Night spawns with your game stage. So if you have this on by day like 60 something plus, you basically only get Seekers and zombie bosses. So if you have this on, you're going to get way, way harder Horde Nights, but I'm here for it. Zombie Particles. Turn hand particles off or on to help with the performance. If you have it off, you can't see what zombies are which. If you have it on, if a zombie has like a glow around the hand, that's explosive. Fire around the hand, that's fire immune. Electricity around the hand, that is shock immune. And then green around the hand, that's like toxic. So if you have these on, you can see what kind of zombie is attacking you. Off makes it harder because any zombie can have any effect basically. Zombie spawn amount, default. It's also so you can have it lower spawns, even lower than that. Gradual. Oh yeah, let's go all the way down. You can have no zombie spawns. You can have gradual, slower spawns. You can have gradual or gradual faster. So the later the game goes, the more the zombies just ramp up. You can have lower, default, higher, highest, or random. Spawn zombie frequency. So you can have this over here. It says slowest is 400% slower spawns. You can have slow 200%, default no change, fast 20, faster 40, faster 60, and relentless 80%. So this is how much the zombie spawns in the biomes. If you have it obviously on relentless, you're just going to be killing zombies and killing and killing and killing. You won't actually be able to really progress. Delay NPC spawns. So basically sets the conditions for NPCs to start spawning in the world. If your game stage is 10 or higher, you start getting NPCs spawning in the game that can either help you or attack you. There's no delay. You can have them whenever. Or your game stage, they never spawn. There's no NPCs at all. But this, you need NPCs in the world to help you out, especially late game. Especially if you want to go melee for, like, for example, SMG and up NPCs. While they trigger your class auras apply to your NPCs. So if your NPCs are shooting, you can go melee and you don't have to waste your ammo. Bandit spawn multiplier, obviously what it sounds like, the more bandits you get or want or less bandits you want. Survivor spawn multiplier, this is also to do with your survivors, like survivors you can hire. Range NPC accuracy, 100%. This over here says they have base accuracy of 70% for single shot weapons and 60% for all others. This chance goes up by 3% per NPC level. So the higher your NPC level is, the more accurate they get. So I keep it at 100. You can also put it on 70, and then as they level up, they can get like higher skills as well. I just keep it on 100 because you want your NPCs to actually help you. Full control distance, the distance in which you have control of your NPCs is 10 blocks. Hunting distance, they will go out and hunt zombies 40 blocks away from you. Mutated zombie spawns, determine if or when you want mutated zombies to spawn, mini mutated zombies when they spit. So mutated zombies, those are ones with the pus bubbles on their bodies, like the top torso. This, if they spit vomit after day 14 and up, if they do that pussy thing, it can actually spawn more mini mutateds. So a normal one would spawn mini mutateds, feral one would spawn normal mutateds, radiated would spawn feral mutateds, so on. So the tainted ones can spawn radiated. It gets insane. One mutated zombie can actually make an army of like 10 to 15. In the one series, I don't know if it's this one or the previous one, I fought an army of mutated zombies just because one started doing that pussy thing. Kamikaze, that's a spider running at you with like a bomb on his chest. He can spawn but not in POIs. Demolition zombies. Choose whether or not to encounter demolition zombies. I said always, but I didn't really get any demos. That is weird. Seekers, these guys do explosive damage. They look like these weird, freaky hulks of zombies. When they get close to you, you can do some serious damage when they actually hit you, but they do explosive damage, so they can do damage to your blocks. That's why you need explosion immune concrete on your bases. Otherwise, these wreck your bases. Support zombies, choose whether support zombies will give bonuses to surrounding zombies. I have this on. Basically, a doctor can heal all their friends. Dude with a white shirt, I can't remember what he's called. He gives them all armor. There's one that gives them buffs. There's so many zombies. There's a toxic zombie that makes all zombies toxic. If you don't want that happening, turn it off. I just have it on because it makes it so much more challenging. Player knockdowns, on or off. For the server, I'm going to be turning this off. The higher level your armor, there's like, for example, light armor, you get knocked down really easy. Heavy armor, you get knocked down way less. I'm wearing full heavy armor, and I have a full level 5 knockdown mod, resistant mod on. And the zombies and my own NPCs and stuff keep knocking me down. So if you don't want to be knocked down at all by your own NPCs or the zombies, you turn that off. Because knockdowns, you can get knocked down and the zombies still attack you while you're knocked down. You can't do anything. Entity event spawns. Choose whether or not to encounter Seekers and Wraiths outside of Blood Moons. So for example, Seekers, it'll say Seeker has pinpointed your location, and then in the beginning it sends 2 Seekers, and by day 77 it sends 5 Seekers at you. And Seekers, when they explode like that, they spawn kamikaze zombies as well that explode on you. Wraiths are broken at the moment, so don't have to worry. X-ray detection. Basically, cops. If a block is... I don't know if there's also full blocks, but basically, usually, if a block is a full block, a cop can't see you through that block. But with X-ray detection on, the cops know where you are. So even if you have full blocks, they vomit at your base from all angles trying to hit you. even though they can't see you. So if you have it on, it makes it so much harder, the damage so much worse. Rebirth, Feral Sense. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They all know where you are. I turn this off. Feral Sense, just normal Feral Sense is already hard. Rebirth Feral Sense just is so much worse. Sleeper Sense. Determine if or when you want POI sleepers to sense you and wake up from much further away. I turn that off. You won't be able to sneak with this. If you turn it on, during daytime, during nighttime, or always, if you enter a POI, the sleepers will all wake up. This could work if you want the whole building to wake up, but if you're doing stealth, this is a no-no. Trigger aura when hit. Here's a cooldown. So basically, if a zombie hits you, your class auras can activate. You can have just on. You can have a cooldown to it to make it more fair, or you can turn it off. I like having it like on a cooldown because every now and then you get overrun, a zombie hits you, your auras just knock them all away, and you can survive. Wandering Horde frequency, we can have it on. Let's just go all the way down. None. No Wandering Hordes. Default Wandering Hordes. High Wandering Hordes. Higher, highest. It gradually increases over time. It goes gradual or goes way faster, so it goes like exponentially up. Or random. Wandering Horde size, you can also have it over here. You want Wandering Hordes to be 3 times the size, 4 times the size, 5 times the size. I just have it on random. So it can be insanely massive Wandering Hordes or very tiny Wandering Hordes. There's also outbreaks. Now, these are Wandering Hordes that just keep coming for minutes at an end. So here you can set the chance of it triggering. So you want to have a 50-50% chance of it triggering. Here you can set how long it has to last. It can go all the way up to 8 minutes. So it's a Wandering Horde that just comes at you and comes at you and comes at you for 8 minutes straight. There's outbreak restriction at highest. It says low, mostly normal zombies. Medium, up to mostly feral zombies. And high, up to tainted zombies. So my outbreaks and Wandering Hordes and stuff are insanely OP. You can also set whether you want an outbreak after a Horde night. So I have it on 50% default, but it can go up to 100%. So after Horde night, you face another outbreak and whatever duration it is. So basically, Horde night just keeps going because of this Wandering Horde. Okay, let's jump in and look at the skills. Okay, I'm not going to be covering NPCs or anything. Just know if you run up to an NPC, you click on it and you say, show me your qualifications. It tells you what you need to get that NPC. So what the cost is, what their level is, and also what level you need to be able to hire them. I'm also not going to be covering any of the vehicles or workstations, anything, or even all the mods. I'm going to show you guys this. There's like custom mods and stuff in the game as well. It's going to take way too long. But what I will be showing you guys has to do with the genetics, the crafting skills, the misery tab, global achievements, and then the 10 classes. So first things first, we have the genetics. Genetics go up with your action skills. So the more you mine, the more your strength goes up. The more you run around, the more your dexterity goes up. The more you take a hit and heal, the more your constitution goes up. The more you read books, the more the intelligence goes up. And the more quests you do for the trader, the more the charisma goes up. And each of these actually has like skills underneath that help you play the game. Usually in vanilla, you have to use skill points from leveling up to put points into these. In this mod, it works slightly different. So first things first. To increase your strength, like I said, you have to go do mining. But you can also go and get these shots. So you can turn, there's a rebirth trader at the traders called Briston. You can go to him and swap these ones over here, these blueprints or fragments. Yeah, let's call them fragments. You can exchange these fragments for boosts, and you can turn these boosts into shots and use the shots to increase the level of your strength, dexterity, constitution, depending on which shot you made, obviously. It takes 25 blueprints to make one shot, but it only gives you like 3 to 5% in that skill. And you have to go from level 1 all the way to level 10. Also, the skill you can take depends on the level. So over here, if you see this, it says actually, yeah, level your genetics will affect some of your skills. Strength, increased damage with melee weapons. Dexterity, increased max stamina, walk speed, and run speed. Constitution, increased max health, mobility, and carrying capacity. Intelligence, increased yield from salvaging, increased XP with electric traps, and charisma, increased sell prices. So basically, over here, anything that's out of 10, you have to be the same level as this genetic over here to be able to get put a skill book in there. So for example, since I'm level 9, I can use skill books up to level 9. I cannot read another skill book at the moment because it's not level 10 yet. But if it's out of 5, it's basically for every 2. So to get this one over here, it says unlock constitution level 10. But I'm a level 10, so I can do it now, but I have a mod on, so we'll cover the mods now. So over here, you have to be level 8, level 6, level 4, level 2. So when it's out of 5, it counts a little bit different, but when it's out of 10, it corresponds to the same level as your genetics over here. So, when it comes to genetics, you have Warrior's Edge, Sexual Tyrannosaurus for stamina, mining and the amount of stuff you get, mother load, under strength. With dexterity, you have cardio, parkour, and void steps, so being able to have to dodge zombie attacks basically. And under constitution, you have pack mule, which also has its own effect. This is really cool. This you need to know, guys. Pack mule level 5. Once you have this, unlock the ability to dump and grab inventory to and from the nearest owned vehicle. And your vehicles can auto-loot loot bags. So if you want loot bags to be looted, you don't want to run around, especially when there's outbreaks. Your vehicle, just enable auto-loot. If you go up to a vehicle, quickly, I'll show you. You open up a vehicle, you go over here, and you say auto-loot on or off. So then loot bags go over here, and then there's a mod for you, or auto-loot mod that loots zombie corpses. Okay, so if you use a shot, you increase the genetics level by percentage-wise. And the higher the level, the more books you can read. These over here are not skills. You don't use skill points, but rather these books. So for Warrior's Edge, you read the Warrior's Edge book. Sexual Tyrannosaurus, this book. Instead of skill points, you get these books. And these books you can buy from Bristol, or you can find blank books out in the world while killing bosses and stuff, and then turn those into these. So there's no skill points in Rebirth. You use these books to level up these over here to 10. So that's one important thing you have to know. Let's just go over here. Each of these levels, each of these skills, you can make a mod for. But to make a mod that increases this by 1, this by 1, this by... No, actually it increases by 2, I think. You see how it over here shows like 2? That means I only have up to level 8 unlocked, but because of a mod, I have 2 skills over here. You can actually make mods for the individual ones like this. So for minus 69er, Sexual Tyrannosaurus, Mother Load, and Warrior's Edge, you make these in the forges. You can only wear one of these at a time. It says over here, equip slot in the hands. So this one goes in the feet. So yeah, dexterity feet. Constitution goes in the outfits. The intelligence goes in the head, and charisma goes in the head. But these two, you can actually have one of each in the same time. With these, you can either have mining, or either have sexual tyrannosaurus, or either have mother load, or either have a warrior's edge. It requires 100 fragments to make one mod. And like I said, you can only have one of these 4 on. But once you have all 4 of the mods for these skills, because remember, this one has 4, so you have to have 4 mods. This one has 3, so you have to have 3 mods. This one has 3 mods. Intelligence is 4, so you have to have 4 mods. And this over here is 4, so it has to be 4 mods. Oh, no, Treasure Hunter doesn't have a mod. But yeah, basically that's how it works. You have to have a mod for each of those skills to be able to combine all 4 of these into the attributes mod. So these are skill mods, and then you combine the skill mods into an attribute mod. So instead of having to choose, oh, which one of these 4 do I want to put into my armor piece, you combine these, and then this one just goes into the hand. So it only takes up 1 slot, but instead of this one only going for this one only going for this one, if you have the attribute mod on it, it covers all 4 of these. And once you have all of your attribute mods, you have a strength mod, dexterity mod, constitution mod, intelligence mod, and charisma mod, you can combine these mods to make this mod genetics, and you put it in your head. It says here, when equipped, this mod gives you +2 for each 10 level perk. So when I call skills, they call perks over here. And +1 for each 4 or 5 level perk. So basically, it gives you 2 over here. I wonder if the other mods only give you 1. This one actually gives you 2. But for every 10 out of 10, it gives you 2. For every 5, it gives you 1. And obviously for this one over here, 3 and 4, it also only gives you 1. I'm hoping this all makes sense and it's not too confusing. So fragments are the most important thing. You get these all the time. 100 of these make one mod. You need 400 for strength, and then you combine the strength into a strength mod. Over here, you need 300 to be able to make these 3. Combine them for a dexterity mod. Combine the constitution 3 for a constitution mod. The 4 in intelligence for intelligence mod, and the 3 in charisma for a charisma mod. You combine the strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, and charisma mod to make the mod genetics. So instead of having a mod in your hands, a mod in your feet, a mod in your outfit, a mod in your head, and a mod in your head, you now combine all 5 of these, opening up slots in other armor pieces, and only have 1 mod in your headpiece. But beware, I use this, and even if I take my helmet off, I cannot put any more perk books into these. They have now maxed out. So if it's 8 out of 10, I can't read another book because it already knows I have the mod, so it doesn't allow me to do that. I think if you never ever use that mod, you might be able to use all 10 skill books, but I haven't tested that yet. Okay, so we've covered the skill, the perk books that you have to buy from Briston. We've covered the mods that increase the perks over here and the combined ones for the genetics. And we've covered now how to combine the genetics for this. Now we go to the next tab. We now have crafting skills. This tab shows you what level weapon or tool you can make. So the more you use weapons and tools and the more you level up your classes and stuff, the more this will be unlocked. For example, under spears, I only have up to level 3 and I'm 51% to level 4. But when it comes to long rifles, I have unlocked the highest level sniper rifle. So over here, you can see, okay, hunter class. These are the weapons that go under hunter class. Let's see what my level for that weapon is. So it's the same with the other classes as well. Techno Geek. We'll cover it with the classes now, but basically it shows you what weapons, melee and range goes with that class. And then at the back over here, there's also mining tools. So what level, the more you use your tools, for example, the higher this goes as well. And this shows you what level, as an iron pickaxe, level 1 to 5, steel pickaxe 1 to 5. We have level 1 auger unlocked at the moment. But I've been looting like higher level augers anyway, so this doesn't matter that much. Mining tools, that's pickaxe. Digging tools, that's shovel. Chopping tools is really, really low because this is really hard. I don't really chop down trees, so that's really low. That covers that. And then salvage tools, the more you range, the more that goes up. And armor, it also shows you what armors are unlocked. And you can see by the tiers, tier 4 is like heavy armor. Tier 3 is medium to heavy. Tier 2 is light to medium. And then tier 1 is just like primitive. No, this is also light. So this is primitive, this is light, this is medium, this is heavy. There you go. And it shows like which ones. Biker outfits, under heavy. It's biker outfits, commando, assassin, nomad, and raider. So it shows you which armors are under heavy, or under medium, or under light, and what level of those armors you can make. So yeah, you want to, if you have knockdown on, you want to wear the heavy armor as soon as possible. But if you don't have knockdown, it's your choice. You want to go light, medium, heavy. Obviously, the higher the tier outfit, the more your armor score goes up, so the less damage the zombies can do to you. Then we have the misery tab. Now over here, remember in the menu settings, I said Ascension, Natural Selection, and Rebirth. I'll be covering this. Basically, this is how strong the zombies can get. And if you have it on, beware. Ascension. Zombies ascend as you level up. Don't think you're the only one who gets to become stronger. So the more you level up, the stronger the zombies become. And it starts off easy. They'll have a 5% base chance to have the following. So a 5% chance to have speed bursts. And then it gets all the way up to level 10. They will have a 50% chance to have a combination of the following. So the 50% chance that a zombie has fire and shock immune, or a 50% chance that a zombie has all of those skills over there. So some zombies can be beasts if you're unlucky. Also notice how the second from the bottom says unlocked doors. In this mod, you have to lock your doors and hatches. If something's unlocked, say for example, you set the trader protection on, so the trader can't be destroyed. The gates are unlocked, so zombies can and will open up those gates to get to you. So Ascension, the higher your level, the tougher the zombie. Since I'm over level 100, it's level 10. Natural Selection. Zombies evolve through natural selection as you weed out the weaker ones. So after a certain amount of zombie kills, they become stronger. It starts off with an easy. After 500 zombie kills, they will have a 10% base chance to have the following combination. So once again, 10% chance means it can either be, it can be a 10% chance of just 20% more health, or 10% chance of 20% more health and regenerate 0.5 HP per second. Or if you're lucky, 10% chance to have all of them combined. As you can see, they do more damage, they're faster, they walk and run faster, they have more health. So some zombies can have insane values for HP. Currently in my series, I'm up to here. So after 9,000 kills, they'll have 60% chance to have a combination. And look at that. Get 120% more health, 120% more damage, 30% faster, walk and run 30% faster, generate 3.25% HP per second. It goes up to 35 zombie kills, 35,000 zombie kills. They have 200% more health, regenerate 8 HP per second. They walk and run 50% faster, do 200% more damage, and attack 50% faster. And that's a 100% chance to have a combination. So that 100%, it can either be a combination of 2 or a combination of all 5 of those. But the zombies become beasts in this mod. That's why this mod is actually my favorite mod. When it comes to challenge and just progression overall, this mod is epic. The Rebirth. Zombies that you kill grow more resilient and can live again. At level 1, zombies that you kill have an increased chance of being reborn, rebirthed, when you reach level 15. So basically, if you kill a zombie and you can't see its HP, like when you go over a zombie corpse and it says this is a corpse of, say, a cop. If you can't see that says, hey, this is corpse, stand back. If you can see the text, they won't rebirth. If you can't see the text, they rebirth in the upright position. And the problem with this skill is 2.5% chance to live again, 7.5% chance to evolve into something stronger. So at the moment in my current series, they have a 20% chance to live again and a 60% chance to come back as something more powerful. So a normal zombie can come back as a feral can come back as a radiated come back as a tainted, or a tainted come back as like a tainted with fire power or electric power or shock power. So be careful when you do this. There are mods that lower the chance for them to rebirth and your game stage and stuff. So look into those custom mods or custom mods for your armors. Those mods really, really help you. It can go up to 25% chance to live again, 75% chance to evolve, and a chance to be rebirthed up to 4 times. So a feral zombie can end up as a tainted with powers if it rebirths 4 times in a row. It all depends on whether you have the other mod equipped or not. Then you have global achievements. Now, in my current series, we didn't even use these because I had the thing on where I had to go and look for the HP mods and I had knockdown on and stuff. I had very limited space for mods on my armor. So first of all, things first, this shows you how many animals you've killed. And also, the more animals you kill, the more you can harvest from the animals in the future. Green thumb's the same. Harvest 1 additional crop if you have this unlocked. So the more you harvest, the more you unlock. And the higher it is, the more crops you actually get from wild and planted crops. Over here, it shows Bounty Hunter, what level mercenaries you have unlocked. At certain levels, level 15, you unlock level 1. Level 30, you unlock level 2. 45, level 3. 60, level 4. And then 75, level 5. But to get the next level, you have to have the previous level. So you can't go from level 1 to 5. You have to go level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be able to unlock level 5 mercenaries. So it says over here, shortcut, insert. Press the insert key to spawn them for a minute, and the cooldown's 20 minutes. So for a minute, you get like 5 mercenaries with swords attacking anything and everything around you. And then there's a 20-minute cooldown period. Even when knocked down, you can still spawn them in. And also for your NPCs, if you press Q, it spawns them on top of you. So if you're knocked down, the zombies are on top of you, either press Q or press insert, and it spawns a backup team for you. And these will last, like I said, 1 minute now, and then the cooldown is 20 minutes. Okay, also, once you've killed 50 explosion immune zombies in the forest biome, you unlock the farmer trader at the forest trader. You'll see he's standing in the same room as a trader. He sells you food and companions and resources and stuff. The moment you've killed 100 fire immune zombies, mostly in the desert, but late game there anyway, it gives you access to her. She's at Bob's compound in the desert, and she sells you tools, resources, and even vehicles. Like, I bought the helicopter from her. Black Shield Trader is in the snow biome with you. If you've killed 150 shock immune zombies, you unlock him, and you can buy fire protection mods. So, for example, at the moment, this over here. Zombies, when you kill them, there's fire immune, shock immune, electric immune, combination of the few. This one over here, fire and shock immune. This means zombies that have both fire and shock attributes. I've killed a certain amount of them, gotten the remains, had cash on me, went to him, and I bought this mod. So I have fire resistance and shock resistance. There are even more rare zombies that have fire, shock, and explosive immune combined. There's also separate, obviously. So you can get a shock immune, fire immune, or explosion immune mod separately. You can get a combination of fire and shock, or a combination of fire, shock, and explosive, and I think there's another one as well. Obviously, the more immunity a zombie has, the rarer they become, so the harder it is to find those remains from the zombies. But once you have enough remains and you have the cash, you go to the Black Shield Trader and you buy these mods from him. And it can get really pricey as well. So once you buy the mod, you put it on, and then now zombies can't set me alight or can't shock me, but they can still knock me down with explosive because I don't have explosion resistance. Let's see. Next up is good vibrations. These are global auras. So basically, it says over here, requirement, must be play level 40 or higher to activate. And then also, when you have to kill a certain zombie, a specific zombie for the healing. So for healing, you have to kill nurse zombies, but it must be outside of the forest biome and not during a blood moon. So if you want to have these unlocked, you have to go to the desert early game and live there, because then any zombie you kill contribute to this. So you have to kill 35 zombies for the first mod, all the way up to level 3. Once you have level 3, wearing the healing aura mod will actually give you HP. When injured, you will recover 1 life every 3 seconds. Allies recover 1 life every 6 seconds. So basically, these you can be turning. There's a healing aura mod, stamina aura mod, mobility aura mod, and then the quality or the strength of the mod depends on how many zombies you've killed. And it says how much you have to go. So out of 125 kills, I've killed 76% of that. I've killed, out of 165, I've killed 125. So I still have 24% to go before unlocking levels 3 mobility aura, for example. So just go to this over here and just see which zombies are. If you want more HP, more stamina, mobility, more armor, more block damage, more fire rate, attack speed. This is stealth, more vitality, agility, pierce aura, trade aura, so it's better trade and stuff, fortuity and stability. Go see what zombie they want you to kill, and then go to a biome other than the forest and be outside of a blood moon. Also remember, to equip these mods, you can equip them even if you're under level 40. But once you're over level 40, unequip that mod and re-equip the mod, and it'll give you these effects. So you get an additional 100% accuracy and recoil reduction. That's insane. Especially when you have like AK or M60 or even a sniper rifle. Having no recoil and also way more accuracy is going to help you insanely with these. These over here, you can actually have music when driving around. So this is just stuff you find in the world. And now, finally, we get to the classes. This video is going to be long. Next, we get the classes. There's the Hunter class, the Thug, the Builder, the Techno Geek, the Sous Chef, the Madman, the Butcher, the Witch Doctor, the Soldier, and the Berserker, which specifies melee only. Basically, we'll start with the Hunter. So to get these classes in the beginning, you have to, say you want to pick a class. You have to go check spears, bows, and long rifles. That's where this tab comes in handy. So for spears, for melee, because you have to have 2 pieces of a book. Under melee, you'll see it says Hunter Fragment 2 out of 2. So then it has to be a 1 out of 2 as well. That's under bows. So you can either use a primitive bow up to 100%. Remember, it has to be level 5 and then go to the next one. So before you unlock level 1 wooden bow, that's when the fragment drops. So you have to use a primitive bow from level 1 to level 5. And then once it goes over level 5, you get the fragment unlocked. Same with the spears. Use a stone spear all the way. Now, that takes forever. Especially since it has to go from level 1 to level 5, and then it unlocks. So the nice thing is, in this game, in this mod, there are these expertise notes. You can choose, say for example, we were just talking about spears, right? Instead of using a spear from level 1 to 5, you go over here and you look for spears. Let's see. No, this is melee. So there's range and there's melee. So for a spear, you go over here and you make a spear one. Once that finishes, you read that just once. Just one of these will unlock level 1 to 5 in spears, and will unlock the fragment for you. So if you do quest early game and you get these expertise, it's a really easy way to just quickly get your class unlocked. So the faster you do this, the faster you have your class unlocked. So once you have the fragment number 2 out of 2 and fragment number 1 out of 2. So this over here, if you read it, it says here, reading this book boosts the spear crafting expertise by 10%. Also, I'll explain that now. If the expertise is full, it goes into the class XP, and it gives a 30% boost. So we read that for now. That's going to unlock the spears, basically. Now, let's just go back over here to the Hunter. No, wait. Yeah. This over here, 2 out of 2. This over here, 1 out of 2, right? So you go over here. Say you want to unlock the Hunter. You say a Hunter. You craft with 20 paper, the fragment, and 20 paper, the other fragment. These 2 fragments combined make the Hunter class book. You read the Hunter class book. And then you go buy molten steel from Elias, the trader next to the forges. With the molten steel, you make this aura mod. The aura mod you have to put on your armor. So you can see over here, since I have 6 classes, I have my Techno Geek aura mod over here. I have my Thug and my Hunter aura mods over here. I have my Soldier and Madman auras over there. And over here, I have my Builder aura. So basically, when you have that class unlocked, make sure the moment you have your class unlocked, you make this aura mod. In the beginning, it's not going to do much, but this is the only way for your aura to trigger. Because every class has powers, and to use those powers, you have to have this mod equipped. So, let's go back to our Hunter class. The Hunter class governs spears, bows, and long rifles, up to like sniper rifles. The more you use a weapon, the higher this gets, and the higher this gets, the more damage it does. But when you read that expertise note, it adds 10% progression to whatever one you read. Say, for example, I just read a spear. It adds 10% progression to the spear. When that spear gets to level 1, because it started 0, when it gets to level 1, it stops. It can't go any higher if the Hunter class is level 1. So let's go for a class that I don't have it to explain it better. Over here, Witch Doctor, we have 0 out of 10. If I were to use the Scythe will get to level 1. And then before it can go to level 2, the class needs to be level 2 first. So I think the moment you unlock a class, it's actually level 1. So it's 1 out of 10. Pretend this is a 1. Scythe will go up to level 1, 10% at a time with that expertise. Once it gets to level 1, it stops. And then when you read that expertise again, it adds 30% to the class. And once the class is level 2, then the expertise goes back and gets this to level 2. So if you read these expertise notes over here, you can actually get your level of your weapons up and your classes up at the same time. And remember, always come back, check over here and see what level weapon, what next weapon you can go and make. So for the hunter class, we have spears, bows, long arrows. For abilities, it's the rain of arrows. So level 10, you have 20% base chance to rain down arrows on your enemies and says the damage per target and hostiles nearby. You have From the Shadows, Hidden Strike, Infiltrator, and the Tracker. The abilities are determined by the level of the class. So if it's level 1, you have like level 1 From the Shadows. The higher your class gets, the more these skills go up as well. Next up, we have the Thug. The Thug governs clubs and shotguns, and the ability is Aura, Goon's Revenge. So at level 10, you have 15% base chance to stun targets within a 2.5 meter area. So if there's a group of enemies and you stun one, you stun the group. So the higher the level, the more of an area you can cover. You see this over here, only a quarter of a meter, all the way to 2.5 meters. So the higher the level of the class, the higher the level of the ability. Achievements, guilty as charged. Kill 40 killed with a charged assault. Do 50% more damage with running clubs attacks. Wait. Oh, okay. I had to read that better. Basically, the more zombies you kill with a charged assault, I don't know what they really mean by a charged assault, but the higher this gets, the more damage you do. If you run with a club, if you're running with a club and hit a zombie, it does so much more damage. Up to 150% more chance. But yeah, clubs, shotguns, auras, revenge. That stuns the enemies. Next, we have the Builder. It governs hammers, pistols, and electric traps. I'm not quite sure how these work because I'm only reading pistol books. Oh, I'll show you now, guys, how to level the classes as well faster. I'm only reading pistol books, but it's giving me more in traps and the Builder as well. But I don't really know what that means. Anyways, the abilities under the Builder, Aura Dismemberment. So level 10, you have 50% chance, base chance to trigger increased dismemberment for 10 seconds. So these abilities aren't 100% active 24/7. They have a chance of triggering and then last for 10 to 20 whatever seconds. And the higher the level, obviously, the longer they last as well. So for the Builder, you have the abilities Aura Dismemberment, the Penetrator, and Well Insulated. But remember, the Penetrator, armor-piercing rounds can go through things, but as these pistols find weak spots in target's armor. So it's not all guns with armor-piercing rounds, it's the pistols. And Well Insulated is under Builder as well. Next up, we have Techno Geek. The expertise, it governs batons, revolvers, and deployable turrets. The abilities are Short Circuit, so basically it stuns zombies but it shocks them in place, and salvage operations. So the higher your Techno Geek, the more stuff you get when wrenching vehicles. Also, you have a shift key. I wonder if it says here somewhere. It doesn't really say. What about this? Nope. Deployable turrets. Basically, if you press page down, I think, or shift and page down, it actually drops turrets around here. It can drop sledges if you press something, and it can drop auto turrets, like the junk turrets, when you press another button. So basically, the higher this is, the more turrets get dropped, up to 8 turrets being dropped. And those turrets help you out in a pinch because it makes like a circle. At level 10, it makes a circle around you and shoots in all directions. So it's really awesome. Stew Chef governs knives, heavy handguns, and the ability is 1,000 cuts. The 1,000 cuts has 20% chance of inflicting slashes, 300 damage to the target, and half the damage to hostiles near target. It covers the Huntsman for hunting animals and living off the land for getting more crops. So that is under Sous Chef. It makes sense that crops is to do with food. The Madman governs knuckles, submachine guns, and the abilities is explosion and flurry of blows. So with explosion, 20% base chance to get a small explosion on enemies. This is actually annoying and good at the same time. If you get overwhelmed by zombies and this triggers, it knocks the zombies away. Even Seekers get sent flying by this. But if you're trying to kill a specific zombie and he keeps flying about because he's just keeping getting knocked around by explosions, it makes it really annoying. Flurry of blows is how fast your melee speed can attack. Then we have the Butcher. The Butcher governs swords and assault rifles, and its ability is blood drain. So it causes bleed on zombies. And pain tolerance for you. So the higher this level, the Butcher is, the less damage you take. So via HP, reduce HP loss by 25% and 50% less chance to get stunned. Then we have the Witch Doctor. Governs scythes and tactical rifles and has black magic. Black magic, you mind control zombies, and the higher it is, the more 200% more health and deal 30% more damage and regenerate 10 life per second. So this over here, you have more powers, but also you can control zombies. And it says over here as well what you can craft and what you can take over as the level progresses as well. Then we have the Soldier. Governs axes, even steel axes like iron axes and steel axes for chopping down wood. This falls over here as well. And machine guns, that's like the M60s. But remember, machine guns can be more than just that. So Soldier, machine guns, you can see it's an M60 and then it goes even more powerful. So yeah, axes, machine guns, and then the aura ability is double damage. So when this triggers, there's a 20% chance of triggering, and it does a lot more. It doubles the damage for a certain duration. And the higher the level, the more your party members can do damage or a chance of triggering it as well. Lastly, we have the Berserker one. Now, this is the hardest class. With all classes, you can have a combination of classes. As you guys know, I have 6 classes unlocked at the moment. I have Hunter, Thug, I have Builder, Techno Geek, I have Madman, I have Soldier. A class has to reach level 6 before you go and make another class. Because if you don't, then you'll only be able to use that specific class. Say, for example, I started with a Hunter. Say a Hunter was 5 out of 10. I decide I want to go for Thug. I'll only be able to use the the Thug's ability. My guns will still stay the same level, and I'll be able to still use the guns and level the guns by using them from the Hunter, but I won't be able to use the Hunter's ability, Rain of Arrows. So you have to make sure you have the mod for that aura on you, for all of the classes you want active, and the class has to be 6 out of 10 before switching to a new class and going over here and then checking, okay, what do I need? Fragments, I need to get the wooden club up. Shotguns, I need to get the shotgun up. So before you move on to the next class, Hunter needs to be level 6 out of 10, then you go to Thug. Get Thug 6 out of 10, go to the next one. You don't have to go in order. That's why some of them have been skipped at the moment. But every class that you choose has to be level 6 before you move to the next class. For Witch Doctor, you have to be level 8 to get its abilities and move on to the next class. And for Berserker, you have to be level 10 out of 15. And this over here says, Berserker is trained enough to go full out melee and occasionally a bow. Strengths, all melee weapons and rage. Weaknesses, can only use non-primitive ranged weapons during blood moons, with the exception of all bows. So you can use bows and melee all the time, but you cannot use M60s and pistols. You can only use primitive weapons when you have this class. But guys, expertise melee, it covers all melee weapons up to level 15. So basically preserve your weapon 75% longer, attacks 22.5% faster, and 37.5% more damage with melee weapons. And the ability is Rage. When you're enraged at level 15, you attack 55% faster with melee. You jump 75% higher, walk around 30% faster, regenerate stamina 500% faster, become immune to elemental damage like fire, shock, electricity, and all that. Are encumbered by 50 less items, lose food and water over time. And during blood moons, you are constantly enraged. Do not lose any food and water. So this ability triggers, it only has like a certain amount of chance to trigger, I think, in the beginning. But once you get to Horde Nights, it's triggered all the time. So you have all of these effects during Horde Night all the time. It says here, sets off rage under set conditions. Offensive, page up, consumes rage capsules and get elemental resistance. Defensive, page down, get enraged, trigger auras and get help from your trainer. Blood Moon automatically triggers and lasts throughout the Horde Night. So instead of having to use page up and page down during Horde Nights, you have all of these effects all the time. Now, you guys might wonder, how do you level up a class faster? The advice I can give you is go for either ranged or either melee. As you can see over here with my Hunter class. Long rifles, I decided to go for rifles instead of bows. I only focused on making expertise notes of rifles. If you go and you do spears as well, it can level up and it can help the class as well, but you're gonna have to level up both the spear and the rifle. Instead, when you have these notes, like I said, I went only ranged. What I did is you go by the melee, you say recipes, and you want ranged notes. The problem with this is, as you can see, there's 56 melee. You only get 28 ranged out, so you do lose melee. But it's still faster doing it this way than going both ranged and melee to leveling up a class. So you say craft. To use one of these notes, it requires 9 fragments. So the more expertise fragments you have, the better. Also under charisma, the higher you level with charisma over here, I think it is Daring Adventurer. Perk books, expertise bundles. If you can get charisma to level 4, you can start getting expertise bundle rewards from trader as a quest reward. So the sooner you get to plunderer under the Daring Adventurer, the better. Because then you get these notes like crazy. So the goal is, say for example, we are now busy with the thug. The thug over here. Instead of clubs, I'm going shotguns. See how this over here says it's 2 out of 10, 0%. So reading any shotgun notes right now is not going to do anything to shotguns, but it's going to give 30% to this class over here. So we'll make a few shotgun ones to show you guys this. Let's just turn that off. Okay, I waited for 3 to be done first. So it says over here, it's 10% into shotguns or 30% into the class. So now if I read this, if you go back to thug, shotguns is still 0 because it's capped at 2 since the class is 2. But the class has got 30% from that. So it takes 3, depending on how far the percentage is for the class, it takes 3 to 4 to level up the class to the next level. So now if you do this, it's 90%. If you do it one more time, it gives 10% to the class, but it gives a few percent. Oh no, it doesn't roll over. Anyways, okay. So now the shotguns is 2 out of 10, right? Class is 3 out of 10. It just leveled up because it was capped together. But now that the class is level 3, you can get shotguns up again. So now that was 0%. Read it 3 times, it should be 30%. See how it's a little bit under that as well. But basically, that's how you level up. So each book you read gives 10% to that weapon that you're reading. But once it caps out at the same level as a class, it goes into the class and gives 30% to the class. So the class over here as well, it's not just, the more you use your guns and stuff, this actually also goes up. It's not just going to stay at 0 the whole time. So sometimes you have to read 3 of those books, sometimes you have to read 4 of those books, it all depends. But this is the way you level up. You level up shotguns, you level up thug. You level up shotguns, you level up thug. Instead of leveling shotguns, clubs, thug. Shotguns, clubs, thug. It takes too long to do both. So decide on what you want to do. If you choose Berserker first, decide on which class's melee you are really going to rely on. Because then when you go for that class, you can just up that class's melee instead of the gun with that class and do the same. You can either go for melee and class or range and class. By going melee and ranged at the same time, for the class, it's going to level up the class slower. So that's how I leveled up mine, all of these, and I got 6 by day 77. It's only saying day 700 now because for the last video, instead of day 77 Horde, I faced a day 700 Horde. But up to day 76 more or less, let's say, I unlocked 6 classes just by following this principle. Every time I hit level 6, I move over. Now you might have noticed Hunter is level 10 with sniper rifles level 10. Madman is level 10 with submachine guns level 10. I didn't go and level submachine guns up to level 10. I kept it 6 out of 10 and Madman 6 out of 10. But just because I'm using the Scorpio, which is an SMG, it kept leveling submachine guns and Madman as I was just exploring. So it's not just these expertise level up, it's also the usage of the guns. But yeah, like I said, get the ranged weapon and the class to 6 out of 10. Move to the next class. See over here what you need to unlock to get the fragment. Make the fragment, make the class book, make the class aura mod. Remember, to use these powers, you have to have the aura mods on. Because hopefully that actually... Oh, it also sends you over here under status effects. It shows you which aura mods and stuff you do have enabled. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 aura mods. But yeah, guys, that is it for the video. I know it's been a long video. It's been a little bit more comprehensive than I thought. But it basically just shows this mod is awesome. Like I said, Darkest Falls used to be my #1 favorite mod, and since playing this has taken #1 spot easily because of just the sheer amount of stuff you can do. Now, like I said, there are way more things like special workstations and vehicles you can repair and take over, and it looks awesome. But I'll leave that up to you guys to explore and have fun on your own. I'm not going to spoil anything else for you right now. Just knowing these over here is already going to help you play the mod much better, and hopefully I covered everything. I'm still a noob when it comes to this. I've played this in Alpha 20. On Survivor mode. You know how there's scenarios, the Purge and the Hive, when I started in the beginning of the video? In 820, there was the Survivor mode, which made the game way harder. I played that. And in V1 now, I did a series up to day 42. The series bugged out. My PC bugged out, rather. And now this current series, I went to up to day 76 and have 6 classes unlocked. So I like to think that at least I know a little bit more about the mod than the average person. That's why I was like, you know what? Let me make this video and show you guys how to level, how to get stuff faster, how to check on things like level of crafting quality and stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys liked the video, please like, share with your friends, comments, tips, feedback, anything all that I missed anything, leave a comment down below. And if you guys are new to this channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button for more of this content. See you guys next time for some more 7 Days to Die fun.
Members and patrons get shoutouts in all of my videos, get access to a private members-only Discord channel, and as a thank you for supporting the channel, get access to my 7 Days to Die server. If interested, check out the links in the description down below.